This morning, we're going to explore where the James Harden trade is causing harm to the Clippers. Considering the preseason expectations for USC and UCLA, are you even kind of excited now about the Victory Bell game? And Andy Enfield says it isn't his place to update us on Bronny James. What? Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. So, it is November 12th, 2023. Still in Salt Lake City. I'll be going home tomorrow morning. But whatever. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. If you believe as I do, take a moment and thank Him for the blessings you have in your life. Like the new subscribers that joined our channel yesterday. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. We're going to keep you informed about LA sports. And if you like being in the know about LA, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. I try to get back to every one of you guys. So before we go through the news and notes and look at the scoreboard, yesterday, Caleb Williams passed for 291 yards and a touchdown, rushed for another. But 6th-ranked Oregon showed they were the 6th-ranked team in the nation. 36-27 over the Trojans. Meanwhile, not nearly as optimistic down at the Rose Bowl. Colin Schley threw a touchdown pass to Logan Loya, but he only passed for 117 yards overall. Arizona State with the upset, 17-7 over the Bruins. Philadelphia defeated the Kings 4-2. The Kings have lost 2 consecutive games at home. Adrian Kempe scored for the Kings. Meanwhile, today, we have Detroit playing the Chargers at 1 o'clock. We talked about that game a little bit on Friday Night Chalk Talk. Portland is at the Lakers at 7 o'clock. LeBron James is questionable with a calf issue. And Memphis is at the Clippers at 12:30. Again, we're going to talk about James Harden and why things are not working out right now for the Clippers. What do you say we do that now? I want to straddle a line here when I talk about this. I've been saying it all along, ever since the rumors started coming out that I was against a James Harden trade. But I simply think it's an overreaction to condemn the trade after he's only played 3 games. Granted, they've lost all 3. But if you recall, just last year, the Clippers went 0-5 in the first games after Russell Westbrook went on the court. Now, I will tell you, I think Westbrook's been ideal for the Clippers ever since then. Meanwhile, The Athletic did an analysis of all the problems that have arisen with Harden in the lineup. And honestly, Tyronn Lue's got his work cut out for him because some of these problems, I don't even know necessarily, I don't even have any suggestions. Not that Tyronn Lue would take them. Keep in mind, Harden is putting up numbers. He is shooting 54% from the field. But mercy, where to begin? Okay. For example, Tyronn Lue said before the season that he wanted to have the Clippers with a top 5 defense. With James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Neither of them known for playing defense. Who are we trying to kid? You can't have a top 5 defense when you know Harden doesn't even try to play defense. He doesn't even attempt it. He would just rather you score so he can get the ball back. I don't even know if the dude ever looks at the scoreboard. It's just, I want the ball. So that's one problem. You're not going to get much of a defensive effort out of those guys. Secondly, the Clippers are just too small. They're just too small. We talked about before the trade how the Clippers were going to be too old because Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, they're all in their mid-30s now. We haven't discussed how they're too small. Kawhi Leonard is 6'7". 6'7". He's your power forward. The Clippers are getting just flat out mugged on the glass. Terrence Mann, very versatile, very useful. He was supposed to be a starter before the season. Now he's back on the bench. Now he's not openly complaining about it, but I'm here to tell you, I think Terrence Mann, even though he doesn't score at the clip of James Harden, I think he's an extremely useful player. The Clippers, by the way, also acquired P.J. Tucker in the trade. P.J. Tucker. Once a pretty decent name in NBA circles. He has 1 basket in 59 minutes on the court. 1. As for Russell Westbrook, you had all your mouth-breathing pundits saying that now Russell Westbrook should come off the bench again. But why? Westbrook hasn't been stinking up the joint either. It's simply at this juncture, and I don't necessarily know the solution to this, they are a small, poorly constructed team. Now, don't get me wrong, Tyronn Lue can make an adjustment and all of a sudden things start to smoke, but you have 2 ball-handling guys who claim they're point guards, but they're ball handlers who are actually shooting guards back there. And both of them want the ball. They're not openly complaining about it. They've only been together with the Clippers for 3 games. But consider the issue of who gets the touches, who gets the ball. NBA data indicated that before the trade went down, Russell Westbrook averaged 72 touches a game, which makes sense, he would have been the point guard. Paul George, 59 touches a game. Leonard, 54 touches a game. Now, Harden is just flat out hogging the ball. Here are the touches. He is averaging 56 in 3 games. As for Paul George, he's down to 52. Kawhi Leonard, down to 40. He went from 54 touches a game down to 40. And by the way, Russell Westbrook, he's all the way down to 42. He went from 72 all the way down to 40, a drop of 32 touches per game. And it is all while James Harden gets the ball more than anybody else. I don't have a solution for it, but I'm not an NBA coach. Tyronn Lue is. And again, Tyronn Lue is not a stupid man, but I don't know how he's going to take this jumble of yarn and roll it up into a nice ball in the near future. I don't know. I just don't. You let me know what you think about that, by the way, in the comments thread. I did watch the games for USC and UCLA last night. I'm going to watch them again to try and get a little more perspective because I was just scratching notes. It is very tempting, despite the loss, to actually drink the hopium when it comes to USC, because USC did a surprising number of things right up in Oregon. They did simplify the defense. I come out, for those of you who don't watch the channel regularly, with a Friday night chalk talk. What I do is I take some of the plays that either USC, UCLA, the Rams, or Chargers are going to run, or what they have to stop from the opponent. And I didn't predict that USC was going to stop the opponent. I said that that Oregon did so many things well, passing, running, etc., that it was USC's job to simplify the defense and take certain things away from Oregon so that they didn't get blown out of the stadium. And by the way, they did not get blown out of the stadium. They didn't. As a result, what USC did do last night was they decided to take away the Ducks' running game, which isn't a bad idea. A good running day is 150 yards. USC was giving up over 200 yards a game in many games this year. It was disgusting to watch. Oregon got 140 yards. So you know what? That's kind of a goal that they hit. Is it great? No. But again, Oregon is very good at everything they do. They limited Oregon's rushing. And as a result, remember, Oregon averages 35 points a game. You take a terrible defense, one that had been giving up 40, 50 points a clip for a good chunk of the year, and you ask them to hold a solid offensive team like Oregon to as close as that 33 points as you can, to just give you the chance to win on the road. And USC held them to 36. So again, they came close. They did give Caleb Williams and company a chance. So I really feel a sense of optimism about USC that I didn't have for quite a while. Now, I'm not going to front. I'm not saying I predicted USC was going to win. I totally didn't. But they did take things away. And considering where the defense was under Alex Grinch, that's baby steps. Meanwhile, UCLA, there's no real reason to go too much in depth, at least off first glance, because they played their fourth string quarterback. Fourth string. Started the third string, ended up with the fourth. How the hell do you possibly expect to win games when you're playing your fourth string quarterback? And if you're UCLA, if you're a fan of the team and you're frustrated with them, I don't get it. I should say I get you, but I don't get what Chip Kelly was trying to do. If you remember before the season, Chip Kelly was telling us at the start of the year that he had 3 winning quarterbacks. 3 quarterbacks that he knew could win football games. Colin Schlee, Dante Moore, Ethan Garbers. And none of them could do the job. None of them could do the job. We need to face reality about UCLA football right now. It's not that I'm always right. I'm not going to go there. But one thing I said before the season was that if you claim to have 2 starting quarterbacks, you have no starting quarterbacks. UCLA claimed they had 3 starting quarterbacks. They had none. They've had no starting quarterbacking all year long. All year long. That prediction, by the way, not to pat myself on the back because I wasn't rooting against the Bruins, but that prediction's a bullseye right there, guys. And if you're a UCLA fan and you want Chip Kelly's head on a charger like, I don't know, John the Baptist, like you're getting biblical, I hear you. Because it's going to be difficult but here's the problem. It's going to be extremely difficult for the athletic department to explain to you why they're dropping pallets of cash on Chip Kelly. And why Chip Kelly took that pallet of cash and just handed out big fat checks to all of his friends. Virtually everybody on the coaching staff is a friend first of Chip Kelly. He paid the previous defensive coordinator, a longtime friend, $900,000 a year. Not DeAnton Lynn, the previous fellow, who I recognize has passed away. In addition to that, he also hired Navy's former coach as a special consultant for leadership. Leadership. And he cuts that guy a fat check. Chip Kelly is just helicopter moneying, throwing helicopter money at all of his friends so that they can retire with UCLA. And what exactly is the bang for the buck? Can anybody tell you that? The Bruins have not won a bowl game since 2017. That was before Chip Kelly came on the scene. The last time they were in the Rose Bowl, Bill Clinton was president. But if you fire Chip Kelly, UCLA would have to cut him a check for $8.5 million, like that. And I have to tell you something. They don't have $8.5 million just lying around. You could argue that Texas A&M just fired Jimbo Fisher and cut him a fat severance check. Yes, but Texas A&M is not in debt. UCLA's athletic department is still tens of millions of dollars in the red. And by the way, Kelly could still come up with a counter argument saying that the Bruins have been bowl eligible for 3 consecutive years. So why would you fire that? I hear you, Bruins fans. You should be frustrated. Andy Enfield said it's, quote, not my place, unquote, to answer questions about Bronny James's health status. Well, that settles things. No, it doesn't. Actually, it settles nothing. If anything, it kind of feels unsettling, the absolute opposite of things being settled. What does not my place mean? You're the coach. Coaches are constantly giving health updates for their players, but not Bronny James. What does that mean? Does it mean that LeBron James is trying to control the narrative like some sort of a puppet master because he okayed his son going to USC? Or is it even worse than that and we don't know? For example, is he saying it's not my place because Bronny James isn't feeling well, that he's not recovering? And the doctors have asked him to keep the medical info private. Now, I'm not saying those situations are the truth. I don't know. But you can't tell me it's not your place. You give You give opinions on everybody else's health status, but LeBron James's kid? Anybody else suspicious of that? Darvin Ham said he's trying to find a bright side by benching Austin Reeves. He told the Lakers beat scribes that Reeves can be more like a Manu Ginobili type when Ginobili was used by the San Antonio Spurs. He's trying to spin it again. Ham is. He tried to reframe Russell Westbrook's benching last year as a, quote, new assignment, unquote. And look how that turned out. Now, to be clear, there's a big difference between Austin Reeves and Russell Westbrook. I'm a Westbrook fan, but Westbrook had the pedigree. Reeves just had a great year last year. And there was risk for Ham to make the move. What if Reeves would raise the stink about it, right? The Lakers players love Austin Reeves. In a sense, Ham should be a little bit relieved that Reeves actually understood the move. He did. Give him credit for that. At least that's what he told the Los Angeles Times. Quote, I think if I was shooting the ball fine, I don't think any of this would have happened, unquote. And by the way, Reeves is still getting his minutes. He's just getting him off the bench. He played about 30 plus minutes over in Phoenix the other night and scored 15 points. Samuel Fagemo is back with the Kings. Nashville took the winger from LA when he was out of options as a minor league player, but he didn't make any sort of an impact with the Predators, so they put him back on waivers and the Kings picked him up. The question is if Fagemo is going to be what they refer to in baseball as a quadruple A player. Somebody who just absolutely dominates in the minors, but just doesn't have it in the majors. If you've ever heard the phrase, he's a quadruple A player before. The dude scored 50 goals in 2 years with Ontario, which is pretty solid, but he's only played 13 games with the Kings, because that's a hard lineup to crack. The list of players the Dodgers are targeting. We had a dry erase board back at my house where I would list them all. We're going to have to add another name. Free agent infielder Heimer Candelario. Played for the Cubs in Washington last year. He hit 22 home runs, 70 RBIs. Another prediction from the scribes. The list of the players the Dodgers are interested in has now reached 30. They are allegedly interested in 30 players. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about the current state of both USC and UCLA football after both of them lose going into their rivalry game. Tell me what you would do to try to smooth things out with the Clippers. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.